A lot of you had been asking about what is going on with the lawsuit over pictures in the Kohberger case. One of the problems that we are having in Idaho is that there have been so many public record requests, and different law enforcement agencies said, look, we're not going to be able to accommodate all the public record requests. We're just going to put them up on a website and you can just download them all. And so with that, there was a release of over 200 crime scene photos. Some of you may have seen them online. That is not something I would ever share, because here's how that would go if this case had gone to trial. If this case had gone to trial, it is most likely that the crime scene photos, autopsy photos, and other type of photos, except for just a very few, would have been sealed like we saw in the Murdaugh case. But in a trial process, the evidence would have gone through the official process of being marked as evidence and introduced as evidence and then sealed outside of the jury view, so no one else would have access to it. Because this did not go to trial, there are a ton of public records requests, and it seems that the agencies aren't necessarily weeding out those requests, and they're like, we will just make it accessible to everyone. But that included crime scene photos. And yes, some of the crime scene photos are blurred, but there are still crime scene photos that have the victims in them, though blurred. And I have not gone through and looked at all 200 photos. Why? Because I've seen the police reports and I can tell you exactly what that's going to be like. I've dealt with a lot of crimes in my life. I don't need to see it. The difficulty is that because there wasn't a trial, photos didn't go through an official process to be sealed. So as all of the public records requests are coming in and the different law enforcement agencies are just putting them up on different websites that are theirs so people can access them, they have tried to balance, and I can understand how this happened. They have tried to balance the right to privacy with some of the things that were blurred and the public's right to request information through a PRA request, through the media's First Amendment right, and others. But in all of that process, there was no judge looking at what was getting released and going, this can go, this is sealed, this is here, this is not. And in that, we end up with this lawsuit against the city of Moscow over the photos that have been released. We don't have the full body of the lawsuit because it is not on the docket, and the court has not sent it to me, though I have requested it. We will see. So we will go through the reporting about it. We will go through the press release from the city, because the court has now issued a temporary restraining order, which is essentially a non-dissemination order saying nothing is getting released until this goes through court. This is from News Nation. Kohberger records release blocked by judge. A judge has issued a temporary restraining order blocking the release of additional police records in the case against Bryan Kohberger. We know who Bryan Kohberger is. We know that he pled guilty. A gag order was lifted after Kohberger's sentencing, and hundreds of case files have been released revealing the harrowing scene responding officers found when they got to the house. The records also detail interviews with surviving roommates, inmates who were housed with Kohberger, and someone who claimed to have matched with Kohberger on Tinder. I mean, among other things, because it's also all of his colleagues, which raised a substantial amount of red flags to me. We'll go through those a different day. Temporary restraining order issued. The city of Moscow said Monday that it was served notice August 12th of a petition in the Latah County District Court for a temporary restraining order to prevent the release of additional public records in the case. Madison Mogen's mom, Karen Laramie, requested the order after redacted crime scene photos were released last week following public records requests, the city said. Idaho's 2nd District Judge Marshall reviewed the case and issued the temporary restraining order Friday, blocking the city from releasing any images, audio, or video showing inside of Mogen's bedroom until a hearing on the preliminary injunction is held. I imagine we will see everyone else joining in this motion if they are concerned about the release of information. The judge found that major portions of what was released did not constitute an unwarranted invasion of privacy, but said portions of videos and photographs in their redacted form, specifically unreleased body cam video, could be an unwarranted invasion of privacy. Remember, in every case we've watched, the media wasn't allowed to watch body cam footage or to stream it or to show it on camera if the victims were in those videos. The city said the restraining order only applies to Mogen's bedroom, but that it won't release photos or videos showing inside of any of the victims' bedrooms until the matter is decided by the court. And it might be photos after law enforcement has gone through, after EMS has removed everyone. Maybe. Families, quote, just want peace. The attorney who filed the lawsuit against the city on behalf of the families, Leander James, joined Banfield to talk about why they had to take legal action. They reached the point by the time of the sentencing that they actually had some closure and were able to sort of start moving on somehow. Then they got hit with all of this ugly stuff getting released. Well, the photos are crime scene photos. Leander said the families find the release of photos showing inside the home an unwarranted invasion of their privacy, which is the standard the court needs to decide, but that he understands the law might not see it that way. That's what the judge is wrestling with, he said, while asking the public to put themselves in the family's shoes. James said the families had tried to work with the city before suing. He said they want peace, not conflict, and urged everyone to avoid viewing the photos regardless of the outcome of the lawsuit. No one would want their family member remembered that way. No one would want these photos online. I feel for them. So this has gone to a separate judge. I wonder if this will end up back in front of the court. The city made a press release regarding the temporary restraining order. August 18th, Moscow, Idaho. On August 12th, the city of Moscow was served notice of a petition to Latah County District Court for a temporary restraining order and injunction to prevent the release of additional public records related to State of Idaho v. Kohberger. And then they listed all the different case numbers. On behalf of Karen Laramie, the mother of Madison Mogen. This action followed the recent release of redacted crime scene photos by the city of Moscow in response to a legal public records request. Just because it is a legal PRA does not mean that everything gets released. I appreciate that they redacted them. I just wonder if it would have been better to just black out the whole photo and be like, these are redacted, not blurred, these are redacted for privacy. On August 15th, Idaho's 2nd District Judge Marshall issued a temporary restraining order prohibiting the city's release of any images, audio, or video depicting the inside of Madison Mogen's bedroom until a hearing on the preliminary injunction may be held, which we know is going to be tomorrow, August 21st. Judge Marshall found that major portions of what had been released did not constitute an unwarranted invasion of privacy. So if we were to see the judge's order, I imagine that language is coming directly from the judge's order. However, Judge Marshall stated that there are portions of videos and photographs in their redacted form, specifically including unreleased body cam video, that could constitute an unwarranted invasion of privacy at this time. While the temporary restraining order only applied to Madison Mogen's bedroom, the city will not provide any further releases of photographs or video depicting the inside of any of the victims' bedrooms until the matter is fully reviewed and decided by the court. I appreciate that the city's like, nothing else is being released. Nothing's being released until the court decides it. I just don't know if the public records request entitles you to crime scene photos that the victims are in, because even after trial, you wouldn't get them. So when people are asking for a PRA of all photos, all video, all whatever, I think the city has some discretion to say these are redacted of any images of the victims. But people are asking for everything, and it sometimes feels like there's a clamor for people to say, oh, we got these records first and we're going through them first and we're putting them out first. The urgency doesn't always lead to conscientious decision making. So with me, I am going through the documents and I will summarize the things that we have learned without all of the details down the road. Do we need to do it tomorrow? No, we don't. It's going to be fine. But treating it like it went to trial just makes the most sense to me. I wish I had the judge's order. I'm going to work on getting that because I really just want to see what the court says. I hope the judge takes a look at it. Like, if this was filed in trial, would it be sealed or not? And if it would be, then it stays sealed. The reports are out there. There is transparency for people to look at what the evidence is. The crime scene has been thoroughly described in police reports. There's a ton of police reports, and those have been made public. I don't think there's any overriding public interest in every single photo, every single body cam being released. And it wouldn't have been after trial. Some of it would have been seen if it went to trial. Some of it would not have been. So fair on that. I hope the judge parses it, leaning more towards sealing than not. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss updates on your favorite cases, you're going to need the Lawnerd app at lawnerd.app.com. That way you can stay in the loop on the cases that matter most to you, and you never know when you're going to catch feelings for a new case. So make sure you get it for free on iOS and Android. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a Law Nerd.